Welcome to Trails of Enchantment, where we travel and discover the diverse cultures and nature of the Borderland region, where we share the stories of the places, the art, and the people that make up this beautiful land. We're here to preserve and celebrate the uniqueness of the past, share a taste of the present community, and engulf the bright future that awaits. Trails of Enchantment. Let's start on the trail. For our first stop on the trail, we visit the annual Chocolate Fantasia Festival in Silver City, where people get a chance to check out some of the local businesses, taste homemade chocolate delights, and we discover a snowy surprise for all.
My name is Simon Sotelo III. I am the event coordinator for Chocolate Fantasia 2024. Our theme this year was Yocotal, which is the Mayan word for chocolate. And what we decided to do was kind of bring a little bit of the history of chocolate back to the Southwest. I mean, chocolate is native to the Americas, right? It's not Swiss, it's not German, and just kind of put that out there. And so one of the things that we really wanted to focus on was trying to encourage a lot of our chocolatiers to make items, candies, baked goods that used native ingredients. And so we're not completely strict with that, but it was definitely encouraged, and we ended up with some pretty cool submissions. This year we did something a little bit different, and we added a Friday night event. Normally Chocolate Fantasia has just been Saturday, where you purchase your ticket and you get your map and you get to kind of wander around and get all of your chocolates like you'll see here. But this year we added a Friday night event just to kind of encourage the community to get downtown on a Friday night. You know what, I gotta hand it to New Mexicans, because we're like, little snow's not gonna stop us. But we did get everybody that bought a ticket, whether online or in person. Everybody's shown up so far, and all of our chocolatiers and all of our host sites have definitely pulled through even with the snow.
Chocolate Festival has been going on a number of years, enough that I've lost track. And it's a great day. People come down, they have chocolate, how could you go wrong? And they get into different shops downtown. And it just has this really great positive energy.
It's a good reason for people to walk around Bullard Street and get to see all the little businesses in town. And it's nice for people to come into our shop that may not often come into here because they don't ride bikes or maybe they don't hike so much, but they might still be curious. So the chocolates are actually made by my daughter, Layla, and my wife, Tanya, and myself. We got prickly pear juice from our friend in town that she harvested in the Gila, and we mixed that in with a meringue that Layla made. And then we made the chocolates, and so Layla made these like kisses of meringue and then dipped them in the chocolate, and then that's our treat. It's great.
We signed up also to participate, so I guess we are just giving out chocolates as well, just to be part of the community, and because we love this community and we want to be involved in everything because everybody helps us. Even with the snow, we've had quite a few people, like we've had over 100 people definitely. So we're down to like just 2 pans of like chocolates.
Chocolate's been amazing. There's been some spice, different hints of spice and stuff like that. So it's been nice having the heat with the chocolates.
So this year we're doing a little toasted pecan turtle. So we've got some toasted pecans with a little bit of caramel and chocolate over the top of it. See lots of people that come in and say, "Oh, I haven't seen you forever. How are you doing?" And they, get to share a good word over some chocolates, and that's a great thing.
Our chocolates are a dark cayenne-infused chocolate with fruits and nuts and seeds, and finished off with chili and sea salt. I think people are they're just ready to go for it. So they come out, they bought their tickets, and so they want to participate, and here they are.
It's a lot of fun. This is a cool thing to do. I've never heard of such a thing. How neat. Even the snowing, people come out to get chocolates in the snow.
So this is our second year, but this is the first year that we went like hardcore into it. So I did a huge window display, and my partner Colette made our chocolates. So she experimented. She's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But they're a chocolate ganache tart topped with chili and cinnamon pecans. Turnout has been huge despite the snowy weather. It's been really kind of fun, and everybody's like, it's not even that cold. So I guess the weather can't keep people away from their chocolate.
The next stop on the trail is Out of This World, a tour of the New Mexico Museum of Space History in Alamogordo. Visitors get to check out many space artifacts and unleash their inner sci-fi fan.
My name is Chris Orwell, and I'm the director of the New Mexico Museum of Space History in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Why don't you come join me for a tour? The museum started in 1976 as the International Space Hall of Fame. So it actually didn't start as a museum, although there were museum elements to it, but it started as a way to honor those who had worked in the space program, and it was kind of an economic development idea. So that's how it started. In the 1980s, it morphed into a museum. It was called the Space Center, and then changed its name in the year 2000 to the New Mexico Museum of Space History. But what we do here is we tell the story of international space history, but we always come back to that nugget that is New Mexico and this region. So that's always a part of it, but we really tell the whole story, the big thing. Whether it's the Russians, whether it's India, whether it's Europe, whether it's the US, we tell all of those stories. The first picture taken of Earth from space happened right out here. The first living creatures launched into space happened right out here. So many of the first launch of the Apollo program happened right out here. And we highlight all those things. One of those rockets that was the first Apollo rocket is actually out in front of the museum. And heck, nowadays, you know, the shuttle has landed out here. Now we got Boeing and the Starliner spacecraft landing out here. Spaceport America, it's always happening here, so there's always a New Mexico connection in some way, shape, or form with not only the history, but actually current operations in spaceflight. It's just fun to watch people come into the museum. It's fun to watch them interact with the objects that we have on display, or the interactives, you know, when they get in there and they land the space shuttle, or they land on the surface of the moon, or they fly around Mars, or they see themselves in infrared and ultraviolet light. Those are the things that's fun to watch. Strangely enough, one of the things I find the most humorous and most fun is hearing people look at the bathrooms, and when they see our bathrooms and how they're decorated, and they're like, George, you gotta come look at this. You know, that's just absolutely a blast for me. I wasn't brought up in museums, as it were. I was actually a Navy submariner, and I did that for 20 plus years for the Navy. Got out in 2006, retiring, planned a trip for my family to a museum up in Kansas, the Kansas Cosmosphere and Space Center, and strangely enough, ended up running the museum. They were looking for a new president and CEO. I submitted my resume, I ended up running the museum. Did that for 5.5 years, and then one of the astronauts recommended I take a look at the museum down here, which had a blank slate. The exhibits hadn't been updated in a while, and so I did, applied, got accepted by the Secretary of Cultural Affairs and the Governor, and I've been running the museum since 2012 and loving every minute of it. Probably one of the most popular right now is the Sci-Fi Sci-Fact exhibit, because everybody, it seems, has some connection to that realm. And then through the science fiction elements of it, they can connect to the science fact part of it and the space story. So whether it's standing in the transporter, seeing the Tribble from Star Trek, or a spacesuit from a TV show or movie that they love, you know, those are things where they can make a visceral connection to the story we're trying to tell them. also have a V2 rocket that was launched at White Sands Missile Range. We have an F1 engine from the Saturn V rocket. We've got a number of drones and missiles that have been launched out at Holloman Air Force Base and White Sands Missile Range. The biggest object out there, the most visible one, is very obviously the Little Joe 2 rocket. And that was the first launch of the Apollo program, and it tested the escape system. And that was done right out here. It's always been an absolute blast for me to work here, and I want people to come here and enjoy it. A lot of people don't know about us because we're in a small community, 32,000 people in a county bigger than Connecticut, 60,000 people in the county. Nearest metropolis is an hour, 45 minutes away. We're a destination museum, so I would just love to see even more people find out about us, come here, enjoy the exhibits, enjoy the interactives, and spend some time here in this community where there's great hiking and there's skiing and there's all these other things to do that people might not think about. So yeah, we're happy to be a part of the community here in Alamogordo and in the Tularosa Basin, southern New Mexico, and with just West Texas, just a little bit down the road here, come on in.
Next on the trail, we visit one of the state's highest-ranked farmers and crafts markets in downtown Las Cruces. Main Street becomes filled with delicious food and produce, artisan goods, and many furry companions.
I'm Karen Bradshaw, and I am the market manager for the Farmers and Crafts Market of Las Cruces. The market has been here in the downtown Main Street area since 1971. It started with just a group of farmers. Eventually, some other vendors joined, homemade bread, artisan crafts people. We're here to help promote and start small business. We provide a source for low-income families to access fresh local produce and food through the SNAP Double Up Food Buck program. That's one of the things we're really, really proud of, is the fact that everything you see at this market was made, created, and produced by the vendors that have it, that sell it. I started with the market back in 1998 as a vendor. I know for a fact that we have literally had customers from every continent on this earth. This past year, we also made it to the number 2 slot in the Southwest region, and we were number 27 in the nation out of 7,000 farmers markets. We absolutely love this place. This market is just fantastic. It's part of what makes the downtown what it is.
Everybody seems like they're in a really good mood when they come, you know what I mean? So, they come with their families or come to walk their dogs. That's kind of what I feel like when people come to the farmers market. They feel welcomed. All the vendors, I feel, are very hospitable, and it just feels like a great time to be.
Peter came up with a good phrase. It's like the village well. Here at the market doing this for a good 10 years. We just set up and people come and visit, play games, eat, talk, share ideas.
We're not originally from here, and so we weren't sure. I feel like our stuff is very colorful and different than, most of the style around here. So I thought people are either gonna love our stuff because it's different, or they're gonna hate it because it's different and they don't like it. But the community has been amazing. They've been very welcoming. We have a lot of regular customers that come back every week. And so we slowly over time built it up. And then last year we opened a little storefront about a mile from here, and it's been great. So we're here on the weekends, and then we're there all week, and we send all our people from here to there. We just tell everybody, come see us in our shop, and it's been really great.
I love the farmers market. There's always so many dogs. Sometimes there's even cats and parrots, and everybody is super welcoming. There's often like dog treats or water bowls. It's a really great community for everybody who loves pets or people who just want to hang out and see everything that's going on.
So about 10 years ago, I was customers here, and since the owner here is from Taiwan and I'm from Taiwan, and so then in one summer I was their customers. I bought their produce here, all organic, and then I see one summer they are very busy with the owner and her mom. Then I said, you know what, I'll come and help you for free. I don't want any money. And then they say, well, but how can we thank you? I said, if you have any leftover produce, you can give it back to me. And so since then, 10 years ago, I started to volunteer here every Saturday. I mean, to me, it's a good relaxation. Yeah, and so that's why unless I am out of town for my work or cross fingers, you know, I don't get sick, then I will be always here every Saturday. I enjoyed it.
This particular market is 7 blocks long. It's open year-round, every Saturday, weather permitting. So we are always here, and we always get to see, you know, our families, our regulars, our folks that come through. Whether they purchase or not, we just get to check in and we get to shake hands, and we it's a you know, Las Cruces is 100,000+ folks, but it still has a small town feel. So it's really it's a really kind and pleasant market. There's a really great feel to the market, and I think that's reflected in Las Cruces in general.
The trail continues toward the Organ Mountains for another great stop in Las Cruces at the New Mexico Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum. We happen to visit while they're celebrating their 25th annual Cowboy Days. And we get to see a blacksmith work up close, taste some chuck wagon chili, and meet Molly the dairy cow.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Silva. I work for the New Mexico Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum, and I'm the PR specialist. Yeah, so this is the 24th annual Cowboy Days, and the whole purpose of the event is just to introduce people back into the farming and ranching traditions of New Mexico. It's an educational event, but we have some fun with it. And last year we saw about 4,000 people on just one day, and so we decided to add another day just for such a high interest in it. I guess it's just a great time to come and actually see the museum itself, and just to see how large it is. It's 47 acres, so to see everything and to really experience that it's not just like a walkthrough experience. You actually get to be involved with what's happening, especially during this event where they have a working chuck wagon, which is really cool. And that's actually my favorite part, and they're handing out like a chili bean sample right now. It is so good.
Cowboy Days is our longest running annual event. It's been going on for 24 years. This year it is 3 days. Yesterday, Friday, was our school day. So we had over 350 school children from the entire area, including some students from Juarez, come and experience Cowboy Days. This is our chuck wagon living history demonstration. So we have a chuck wagon cook, and he's actually preparing Texas chili. So he's preparing it in the same way that the chuck wagon cooks would have on the trail. It's a community event, and that's one thing that's really important to all of us at the Farm and Ranch Museum, is that this museum is about the community. This is about their heritage, their families, and then also the future. Farming and ranching is not something of the past. It's all around us. It's a part of our community today. Many of the people, your neighbors, all are in the ag industry, whether they're actually working in the fields or preparing your food. Everybody around us is very, very important to agriculture.
I'm trying to show blacksmithing as it was a traditional occupation, as opposed to, like you see on TV today, guys making knives and swords. Blacksmithing was so much more than that. Making tools, fixing tools. It was making hardware for homes and towns. You know, a lot of towns out here wouldn't exist without a blacksmith.
I'm Charlotte Boyette. I'm with the Southwest Dairy Farmers, and we take a cow like Molly, my Jersey cow,
to schools and we teach students about the dairy industry, dairy farming, where their milk comes from, the health benefits of milk, and how hard our dairy farmers work to produce milk for us and other dairy products. And a lot of students don't know, they just think milk just magically appears on the grocery store shelves or in their school cafeteria, but they don't have any idea all the work that is involved and how much the dairy farmers really do care for their cows and the environment and how hard they work to produce that for us. They love it. They love seeing the cow up close and personal. They love to see the milk, where the milk actually comes from. They love asking questions. They want to know all about where the milk comes from, all about them having a baby, a calf every year. And so they just have a lot of really neat questions, and their eyes just really do light up when they see it in person.
So I come from a Hispanic family. You know, we do a lot of farming and taking care of our food, which is our animals and, you know, family as well. And we thought it would be nice to return and show the rest of the new family members our tradition of coming here and learning about the cows, the process of the milk making, and all the fun stuff.
Our last stop on the trail is for a look at downtown El Paso's historic Plaza Theatre, where you can soak in the atmosphere in one of the last remaining classic-built theaters.
It started out as what's called an atmospheric movie palace. These larger, elegant theaters that started surfacing in the late 20s. And El Paso did not have one at the time. When this theater opened in 1930, September 12, 1930, it was a Paramount Publix theater. Paramount owned it. It was a movie called Follow Through, and we showed it in our film festival, and we recreated the original bill as best we could. It was that and Laurel and Hardy's Bratz. The only thing we didn't have was the newsreels that they ran in front of it at that time. At the time, it was a 2,400-seat theater. It operated as a first-run movie house into the 70s. Went through some more ownership changes as public taste changed, and they moved away from single-screen theaters like this into multiplexes in the suburbs. This theater just couldn't cut it. So by the mid-80s, it was basically shut down, and a feasibility study was done trying to come up with recommended uses for the space. And that study produced a result suggesting that it be turned into a parking lot, and that's where the El Paso Community Foundation came in. Our board president at the time, Betty McGuire, saw that, said we can't allow it to happen. The owners offered to sell it for $1 million, and it took them about 6 weeks to raise that money, including a benefit concert in here featuring Rita Moreno, and it was purchased in early 1987. They fixed the roof and then had to figure out what to do. It took about 20 years between that purchase and when it reopened and was restored. It will turn 94 in September of 2024, and March of 2024 will be the 18th year since it reopened. When the theater reopened in 2006, it was as a performing arts center instead of a atmospheric movie palace. So all the elements of the atmospheric movie palace are in place. The concept of the Spanish hacienda. The stucco was patched, repainted. The paint is a match of the 1930 paint. When you come in through the front doors, the floor that you walk on is the original floor. A lot of it's original, just fixed up, cleaned up, repainted. They brought in specialists to do different kinds of work. And then everything from the stage back was new, so that would be the renovation, the biggest renovation. They tore down the original stage house, which was only 2 or 3 stories tall, and built a 9-story stage house. The organ was designed for silent movies. It was commissioned when silent movies were still fairly prevalent, but by the time it was installed in 1930, silent movies had pretty much gone the way of the VHS. It's a rarity in that it's the original theater organ in the original theater. And then it was reinstalled here in 2006. And it is, I think, one of a handful of theater organs in its original home in the country. It's still played, you can see it, it's in use. We use it during the Plaza Classic Film Festival. It's used to open every movie we show, which goes back to the way they used it in 1930. But we also program at least one silent movie every festival to be played. So the festival itself started in '08 as the movies returned to the Plaza Theatre. It was 10 days and about 60 movies, and they had over 25,000 people show. It's now 11 days, and it brings in anywhere from 30 to 40,000 people a year. The film festival was created in 2008 in part as an economic driver, but also out of response to donors' questions when they were raising the money for this project, which was $42 million. It's an important part of their history. When you have a theater that's been around for almost 100 years, it's hard to find people who've not had some kind of experience with this theater at some time or another. When we do tours, we get people who came here when they were younger and they used to ride the bus downtown and go to movies. It's movie theater history, somebody's first kiss, somebody's first date, things like that. And it's kind of making those kind of memories today, but with different kinds of programming. Who knows how long they'll last, but as long as this building is taken care of, you know, it could last another 100 years. It really could.
All locally produced programming is available online at krwg.org and youtube.com. Thanks for joining us on the Trails of Enchantment. We'll see you next time on the trail.